Hey you guys, it's Stella, and today I am in Baltimore, Maryland still. I've literally almost been here a month. I got here on the 8th and it is August 27th and I'm still here. So I'm having a really good time. I'm bringing in the next part in our roller coaster series, Will I Fit on the Roller Coaster. This series is intended for people who are larger and who are not so confident that they'll fit on every roller coaster, and I am taking the risk for everybody, so you can just worry about having fun with your friends and family. You can worry about having a good time at all these amusement parks, and you don't need to worry about will you fit or not, and I can just kind of be your measure of if you're good or not. So today we are doing Disneyland in Anaheim, California. I am doing Disneyland, the main park, and then Disney California Adventure, where most of the other roller coasters are. So today I'm not going to list off every attraction that there is. I'm only going to speak on the ones that I actually rode. I was there for 16 hours total. So I rode almost everything. I even rode stuff twice. So I got a really good deal going on here, so I'm gonna be able to tell you a lot of the rides. There was only like one actual roller coaster I didn't ride, so I'm not even worried about it. But there are 91 attractions at the Disneyland parks combined, so that is why I'm not gonna read off every single one of them, or this video would be entirely too long. So I'm just gonna say it again. Go have fun. You spent a lot of money to go to these parks. Just have a good time and don't worry about it. Take what I say to learn based on your body type. If you need my measurements or anything, it's down below in the description, so you can kind of get an idea of where you are compared to my body shape. So I went in June. It was very recently, so I'm just gonna sit here and let's go through them. So I'm just gonna go in order. The bakery tour, it's a walking tour and it's super quick, but I wanted you to know that because sometimes, like if you go to Hershey Park and you go on a tour, it is in a ride, but this one is a walkthrough experience. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, unfortunately, is closed at the moment for renovations, but it is my favorite roller coaster at Disneyland. So if you are going to Disneyland and you are my size, you will fit. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. But it's no longer my favorite ride. I think I'm lying, because this being closed made me get on another ride, and now I got a new one. We'll get to it. Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, I was 1000% completely fine. The Disneyland monorail is like a train that goes through and around Disney. You're completely fine on that. No worries. I did not get on Dumbo the Flying Elephant. When I did my own research, people said that they got on it no problem with their children, so I wouldn't worry about it. And if you've seen Tess Holiday in People, then she was on it too, and Tess Holiday is a size 26, so you're probably good. The Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, I did read beforehand that it's super small, really cramped, and meant for little kids as a bigger person, so people don't recommend it, but it's gonna be a tight fit, but you will fit. Guardians of the Galaxy, I did not get on because the wait was 3 hours, and I thought that was a little ridiculous. I was speaking to someone about it, and that was my size at Disney when I was on the Ferris wheel, and they had no issues. It was fine. So I would, if the line wasn't 3 hours, I would have definitely gone on it. Okay, this is the biggest one. People always freak out about when they go to Disney because they don't know, because it is a wooden roller coaster. Right now it is currently the Incredicoaster for the Incredibles, but usually, I don't know what it's called, but it's the big roller coaster in Disney. It's the big wooden one that you see in Disney California Adventure Park. You're fine. It fits. It's one that goes over your head, which for me makes me a little nervous because I do have big boobs and I'm large. So I'm like, oh my gosh, will it not go down? It's fine. I rode it twice because I had fast passes, and boom, it was great. I had no issues, and I rode it multiple times because that made me so excited that I fit. And the ride is so much fun. Incredicoaster ends September 3rd, so unless you're going before September 3rd, you missed it, but the roller coaster, it will still be there. It just won't be the Incredibles themed anymore. So get on it. It's so much fun. This one is my new favorite ride at Disney. I don't know how many years it's been here, but I just rode it for the first time this year. It is the Indiana Jones Adventure roller coaster. It is so much fun. You're in this huge car thing with rows of people, and you're like swerving through the whole thing. It's fast, it's fun, it's adventurous. It's a roller coaster, but it's not like super crazy. It's such a good time, and you will fit. There is no problem. It's a small world. You're on a little boat. It's a 13-minute ride. I recorded it all. Or no, the guy behind me recorded it all. You'll fit, but do you want to go on it? I'll let that be up to you. Peter Pan's Flight was one that I was very, very nervous on, but you will be fine. It is a storybook ride, so it is intended for adults and children to ride together. You are perfect. And those rides are a little bit older. The ones I'm about to speak on are a little bit older. So if you watched my first installment of this series, then you saw that when a ride is older, typically it's not plus size friendly, because when the creators of the ride were making the ride, they weren't thinking like, oh, we're gonna make this plus size friendly, but it's good, you're fine, it works, it's good. Pinocchio's Daring Journey is another one of the storybook rides that was built probably in the 50s or 60s when Disneyland opened. But something about this ride, these are older rides, so it's better if you just sit like it on your own, because I think it's intended for two people or like an adult and a small child. But for me, I just had my own row, and to accommodate this more, I used let me get my words together. So to accommodate this, these were the first rides I rode when I went to Disney. When you go to Disney, everyone goes to the roller coasters first, because those lines become incredibly long. I did fast passes on my phone, so I was able to just like get my fast pass for those rides whenever I wanted to go. And then I went on to the storybook rides, and because no one was in line, I got to do them twice, 3 times, and I just made sure like we all just got our own row, and it was fine. But if you are with an adult and small child, maybe a little tight, but for me, it was fine. Next is Pirates of the Caribbean, which is one of my absolute favorite rides at Disney. It is a boat ride. I think it is so much fun. I think that you are gonna be fine. It fits well. It's just a good ride. It's fun. You'll fit, no worries. All right, the Pixar Pal Around. So this is the Ferris wheel at Disneyland California Adventure. They have, are you really mowing your lawn right now? Are you really? So it's one Ferris wheel, but every other one either swings or doesn't swing. So I was with my cousin and she's adventure. She's like, let's get on the swinging one, which freaked me out because I'm bigger. So when you're bigger, you have more weight than, let's think about like kinetic and potential energy. If you're swinging, you're gonna swing a lot more than a lot of small people in a little pendulum. So that's exactly what happened. It felt like, oh my gosh, are we gonna flip? But we didn't. But I would suggest a non-swinging one. I mean, go for it, because I guess it was safe. But you're not secured in the Ferris wheel. It's just gonna swing as you go up and over. So if you're cool with that, go for it. But if not, I would just get on the non-swinging one next time. It's a lot safer to me, and I don't feel like my weight is contributing to us almost flipping, because it's really, really scary. So the Sleeping Beauty Castle is a walkthrough experience, so don't worry about fitting on anything. You walk through it. There is a wheelchair accessible version if you can't do stairs. But if you can do stairs, then there's that version too. There's also Snow White Scary Adventure, which is another storybook ride. Again, ride it when you first get there so you can say you did it and just get your own seat. Makes it much easier. The last ride we rode on the day at Disney was Soarin' Around the World, which is a very old ride because I used to ride it when I was a child at Disney in Orlando. And this ride, you are, again, it's an overhead system and a seatbelt, which made me nervous because this ride is so old. I didn't know if it could accommodate for me, but it did. It was fine. One little trick I learned about amusement parks when you're bigger is if you click the seatbelt before you sit down, you're fine. You can just like click it and then sit and then put the overhead and you're good. It is a roller coaster that lifts and your legs are hanging. So it's a very real cool experience and you're like soaring around the world. Okay. They do have a, I asked about this because there's like a red button that you press at the end of the ride that releases the harness. And I asked her, I was like, is my butt, if my butt touches his butt, because it's not on your butt, it's like on your back almost. So like if you lean, like you'll hit it. She's like, okay, if you are on the ride and your back hits it, it will not release the seatbelt until you land. So it's not like you're gonna be like falling out. You're good. Oh my gosh, this next roller coaster I was so nervous about because I remember riding it as a kid and it was so tight as a kid. I prayed the entire time I was in line. I said, God, this was my favorite roller coaster as a child. Please let it fit as an adult. I will give anything just to have this ride fit. It worked. This is Space Mountain, the OG roller coaster in Tomorrowland at Disneyland. Best roller coaster at Disney, hands down. If they ever get rid of it, I will actually cry. I just think it's so much fun, but people do get nervous because it is very small and very tight. I did have my cousin next to me. We fit. So if I would say don't worry about it. Definitely so much fun. This is the #1 roller coaster people always freak out about. Ride it. I promise you, ride it. It is so much fun and you'll fit. It's fine. Next we have Splash Mountain. Now if you don't like to get wet but you'll want to ride Splash Mountain, hear me out. Make sure you get a back seat. So the line for this ride is clearly like 2 hours, but they have a single rider's line. So just hop on the single rider's line and hop in with another family. It's not that deep, but sit in the back. And because of our weight, for some reason, we don't get wet. But my little cousin, she's like way smaller than me. She got soaked and I'm like, okay. And I rode it twice. I rode it three times. We rode it 3 times because we just kept doing single rider. I never got wet. Like I got like, the only reason I was wet is because the seat was already wet. So I was like, cool, I made it. But sitting in the front, you're gonna get soaked, so don't do it. And another thing, my cousin said when she rode it by herself in the back, she like lifted on the big drop, and I thought that was a little scary because she didn't feel safe because there's no harness. I did sit all the way in the back and I didn't lift, but this ride is really tight. So if you have a hard time like getting down low and getting up and like an awkward way, just be aware because it is really awkward to get. It's very, very low ride and your legs like are just straight forward into the next person's seat. So just be aware of that. This next one I was a little nervous about too. It was the Star Wars ride, Star Tours. I know nothing about Star Wars, neither does my cousin, but we had a fast pass, so we said let's use it. This ride was fun if you are into Star Wars. I think it was cool just visually, it was really cool. But it's another one like Soarin' around the world. I think it's the same setup. They, again, a seatbelt and then, except there's no overhead harness. So I think this one's just a long row of people and it's just seatbelts. So just click the seatbelt, sit down if you feel like it doesn't fit, or you can just sit down and do it. That one I did was sit down and just put it over me and it was fine. I didn't have a problem. Next is Tarzan's Treehouse, and we opted not to do this because it is a walkthrough experience and you have to walk up like, it's just literally a ride of walking stairs, so that just didn't seem like fun. Next is Toy Story Mania. So much fun, you'll fit, it's fine. The ride like had to stop a couple times, so I just racked up mad points. I'm usually really bad at those kind of games where like you're on the ride, you have to like shoot stuff with the laser. I'm usually really bad, but it had to stop, so I got mad points for it. But yeah, you'll fit, no problem. My cousin was sitting right next to me and I think there are 4 people to a car. So you're good. Another classic, amazing ride is the Haunted Mansion. I've been riding this since I was a little kid. You're fine, you will fit. Now, if they close this, I will only approve them making it Coco, but anything else I'll be so upset because this ride's a classic, so much fun. It's 2 people into a cart. The cart never stops moving unless you request it. You get in, you put the lap bar down and you go. But the lap bar covers you and the person next to you, so make sure that you're both good. Matterhorn bobsleds, I did not ride because that line was 4 hours long. It was just too long to do. It looked tight, but I would have risked it if it wasn't 4 hours. That is it for my Disneyland experience. I literally didn't have a problem on one thing that I rode, so I highly suggest just go, have a good time, have fun. Don't worry about fitting. Like, I was so nervous for so many of these rides and it was just so perfect. And by the end of the day, I was just enjoying my time and just having a good time. I feel like on the list, they didn't mention one. There's another water ride by Bugs Land in Disney California Adventures. I do not remember what it's called, but it's not Splash Mountain. I don't remember what it's called, but that one you're gonna be fine too. It's the one where it's like circle. Oh, let me actually talk about this because it wasn't fine. So there's a circle, the circle water ride. I don't remember what it is called. But that one, you cannot sit on the outer, so there's 8 seats, right? And you step in and then everyone sits. You could not sit by the open one because those seat belts are shorter than all the other ones. You have to sit in like one of the inner seats and then you'll be good. So now I've talked about everything. I really hope this helped you on your Disney adventure whenever you go. And I think I'm gonna do Six Flags next, which means I need to go to Six Flags. And a lot of people are like, Six Flags is not fat friendly, so I'm ready to go embarrass myself on all these rides. So that'll be fun. I will see you guys very, very soon. If you like this video and want more on this series, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and click the notification bell so you are notified when I post. And I will see you guys very, very soon. As always, love, Stella. Toodles. And by very soon, I mean hopefully not still in Baltimore, because I've been here a minute.